This is La Costa, this is La Costa, and this is also La Costa. Same general area, but completely different price points. That's why this area of San Diego works for so many people. Today, we're breaking down La Costa right here in Carlsbad, and we're gonna do it by price point, from those starter townhome communities all the way through multi-million-dollar luxury communities. So we're gonna get into the houses, all that kind of stuff, but more importantly, what your life would actually look like if you are gonna live here. And what makes La Costa so unique is not necessarily just the houses, right? It's gonna be also like the fact that you get in here and enjoy this area at pretty much any stage of life. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know why a lot of people move here to this area of San Diego and never leave. So let's get into it right now.
So La Costa is one of the larger areas of Carlsbad, a little bit more inland than what you kind of typically think for Carlsbad, just a little bit off the coast, a little bit further from the beach, but we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. From the village, about a 20-minute drive. That's where a lot of people, if you're coming to visit Carlsbad, you definitely get into the village. La Costa, you're probably not going to get into much because it is a lot of housing. It is a lot of just suburban neighborhoods. So kind of give you a better idea of where we're at here in La Costa. You're about a 45-minute drive, if there's not a ton of traffic, down to the airport, kind of that downtown part of San Diego. And then to some of those other coastal towns that you might know of. Del Mar is only about 2 towns down from here on the coastal side, so pretty close. Same with La Jolla, is just a little bit further. From here to Legoland is probably a 15-minute drive, so a lot of folks that live here in La Costa really take advantage of having that in town. So there's 4 zip codes here in Carlsbad. So if you're looking at a map, it kind of looks like where the 4 states come together, 4 corners. And we are in the southeast corner, so that's 92009 zip code of Carlsbad.
Now, if you're living in this area of La Costa, this is gonna be one of your go-to hubs. And it's one of the reasons like people dig it, because it's just convenient. Not only this area, we're gonna show you where else you can go, but we're at La Costa Town Square, and it's got anything and everything you need. So it's a quick shot from a lot of the areas we are, where you have Habit Burger, which we were trying to film in front of, but they're blasting some, I don't know, Steady As She Goes, some music over there, so we couldn't do that. But as we spin around here, they also have a Sinopolis. Cassie's gonna tell you about that. Is it a Ralph's over here? What's the store? Vaughn's, Ralph's? I don't know, there's a grocery store right here. I always forget. I think it's a Vaughn's.
It used to be Vaughn's, now it's something else.
Okay, Pavilions, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a Pavilions right over here. Anyways, you got the gas station. There's, we just actually ran into one of our buddies who was listening. He's like, are you guys podcasting here? No, we're just doing a vlog, but we do have a podcast too. He's like, anyways, he was working out over at the LA Fitness over here, or 24-hour fitness. So, but you got everything. And even like, if you're here, you're probably gonna grab your coffee right here at this Starbucks. So what in here, you're not gonna find like a little local coffee shop. That's elsewhere as you get to the village, as you get some of the other spots we're gonna show you. But you got the Starbucks here, and Cassie was telling me, he just went there before, he went to his own one, but he went to the Starbucks, and if you go here, you're gonna get paper straws. So if you're living in a lot of areas here, and cups, yeah. They don't do plastic anymore. And my wife, every time she goes to Starbucks, you kind of want to bring your own, because drinking out of a paper straw is not good. But that's how like Carlsbad is. That's how a lot of the coastal cities are. They're trying to get rid of plastic. They're trying to get rid of, you know, that kind of stuff. So they have banned it basically, and you're gonna find paper straws in a lot of these. But at the other end too is Menchie's, a nice little frozen yogurt shop right there. There's Bushfire at the end here. I haven't been there, Cassie's been there. It's like a little barbecue spot. So a lot of grab and go. You're not gonna be going date nights and this kind of thing. If you're going date nights, that's one of the areas we mentioned earlier, which is on basically the opposite corner of Carlsbad, and that's like Carlsbad Village. That's the hub. If you've been to Carlsbad, that's probably the spot you've been. That's like where you have Grand Ave, you have State Street, you have a ton of local spots. Campfire, awesome spot. Junette Jolie is another spot. I mean, there's plenty in there, and there's a ton expanding. There's Pure Project, one of our favorite beer spots, is down there. And like if you're going, you know, setting something up, get the babysitter, that's probably one of the areas you want to hang or head to. And later on, we're going to mention another area that's even closer, and probably one of my favorite areas to go out in all this area of San Diego.
So Chris mentioned Sinopolis right behind us here. It's a luxury movie theater chain, actually started in Mexico, a little bit here in California, but really cool spot. There's a bar, there's food, there's drinks, all ordered from your seats. I'll actually be back here a little later today with my kiddos to watch a movie.
What are you going to see?
We're gonna go see Goat, and I will definitely have a Stone IPA while I'm watching that movie later. And just one thing to keep in mind if you are planning like a movie night, there are 2 Sinopolises in La Costa. So this is the La Costa Town Square one, and the other one I think is just called La Costa Sinopolis. So definitely specify which one you're gonna go to if you are meeting some people there.
And a few other spots that are right in here. Like we said, it's not really sit down, it's more kind of grab and go kind of thing, but there's an REI in here. There is a dentistry spot we're driving through right now. There's an optometry, a little credit union, sushi spot in here, barber shop. There is a little Susie Cakes and Chicken Basket, Korean style chicken. So Habit Burger. Anyways, there's a few more spots that we didn't mention, and there's a few more on the outskirts as well, but just a few more options to grab a quick bite, or if you need some of those other amenities around here.
Let's go take a look at that first neighborhood. So this is Meadow Ridge, and for a lot of buyers, this is the entry point into living in La Costa and Carlsbad. So even though here you're getting attached, you have an HOA, it's gonna be a little bit smaller footprint than some of the other houses that we're gonna show you. It is getting you into the community where you're gonna have all the same amenities. Literally, where we just were, La Costa Town Square is only 5 minutes away. Some of the other amenities here are still going to be living the same as some of the other communities we're going to show you today. And later we're going to get into kind of the nuts and bolts, the price points, square footages of these communities as well. And then just kind of thinking about the amenities you can get to from here. One of the main ones that people are moving here for is the beach. So from here at Meadow Ridge, it is 6.6 miles to Ponto, which is going to be probably your closest beach. And it's only a 15-minute drive, which I thought it was a little bit further. It is, what is it, 10:15 on a Friday morning, so not a ton of traffic, but super close, super easy access to the beach. So what this community has is kind of what a lot of these townhome communities have, which is amenities like tennis courts, pool. There's a pool here, there's a pool over there. But this community is built kind of in the early 80s, so you get a lot of green space, a lot more like just green area, not so much parks, but just a little bit of open space, a little bit of space between the different buildings. And then what you get unit, like for a townhome here, is there's some buildings that are more twin home style, where it's gonna be 2-car garage and just one shared wall. Some of them, they'll have single car garages. So some of those units will have patios. The ones that are more a little like a townhome are gonna have a small little yard as well.
And up here, it's nice, it's quiet. You're gonna find, we see people walking dogs. We just saw a mom over there. She had like multiple dogs, multiple kids going around. So, but I remember our friends used to live here. Rachel, actually our transaction coordinator. And if you guys end up working with us, you're gonna meet her. She's awesome. She helps us with all the paperwork and stuff. But anyway, she used to live up here, and we came up, you know, go visit them. Our kids used to share the same nanny and whatever, but we came up for like Easter, and they do this every year, where her little block had, you know, like this Easter egg hunt for all the kids and the grandparents there, everybody's there. And it's just like, I was surprised by how many kids and, you know, how much of the community came out. It was a super fun time. Like, all the kids are, you know, doing the little Easter egg hunt. It was awesome. And then also up here, like, yeah, we mentioned La Costa Town Square, right? Like, that's kind of right here. Where we are, we're actually like, if you're looking at the map, we're actually in the very corner. I could almost throw a rock to San Marcos, to another neighborhood called San Alejo Hills. But like I said, we're even this far, we're only 15 minutes from the beach, right? So it's not crazy far, but there's also a few other shots that you go. So you can go straight up Algo, which is like the main road here, and you're gonna hit where that other Sinopolis is that Cassidy mentioned. And it's another shopping center. One of my favorite spots. It's new, it's not new for town, but they just opened this one, called Los Tacos. So good. They have some local beers on tap, but the food is fantastic, and it's a really cool spot right by Black Rail Kitchen, which is another good spot. They have live music in there from time to time. Tin Leaf. There's a few other spots. There's like a Ralph's up there. So what is? Oh, Notorious. Yeah, Cassie behind the camera. One of his favorite spots. I forgot. There's Notorious over there. Is it Notorious Bagels too?
Inglorious.
Inglorious?
Yeah, Inglorious.
Okay, Inglorious Bagels is up there too. One of our go-to bagel spots. You're not gonna find too many good bagel spots, but that is gonna be one. So a few other things besides the Sinopolis up there. La Costa Coffee. Anyways, I keep going on. There's so much stuff right up there. It's probably a little further than La Costa Town Square, but you do have a lot more to choose from up there, right? And then if you go even a little bit to the north, you have Bresci Ranch. So that's another big town center up there where you're gonna find like a bunch more stuff, right? There's like the Sprouts up there. There's another coffee spot. I don't know, I can't get into all that. We'll cover that in another video, but all that is also, you know, a few different areas you could shoot off from Meadow Ridge right here.
So we're hitting you with a ton of information today. So some of it could be confusing, and maybe it's tough to kind of dial in where you want to be here in San Diego, but we did put together a great guide that you should download now, and kind of just gives you clarity and makes it a little bit easier when you're thinking about moving here to San Diego.
So even if that neighborhood wasn't for you, we got 2 more on the list today. But even if those neighborhoods aren't for you, stay tuned. We're covering a lot within this area of La Costa, and there's over 30 different neighborhoods that have the name La Costa in it. So there's a lot of different neighborhoods. There's older ones, newer ones. There's all kinds of different stuff. So if one of those is what you're looking for, that's what we do here. We make all kinds of videos about all different areas up here in North County, San Diego. Definitely go check those out. But one awesome thing about this area, and Carlsbad in general really, is outdoors. Obviously San Diego, parks. We were hoping for a more beautiful day. You can see some blue back there. Yeah, it's nice, but it's not like a beautiful sunny. It's actually a little cold today. Just had a storm come through, but it's still San Diego. And you want to get outdoors. So we're at one of the parks. We're at Stagecoach Park right now. This is one of the parks within that neighborhood. And we're walking through the park area. Actually, right over here is where we had our client party. Was it 2 years ago now? Big bounce house. You're gonna find that throughout all the weekends. You're gonna find kids, they have like little kind of soccer camps, all kinds of stuff going on out here. Big old playground. And then up top, Cassie's gonna show you what's up there, but I'm looking at some tennis courts here. They have the big gym up there. So this is just one of many parks. And the river's flowing today, but it's not usually here. Usually dry. But nonetheless, there's a bunch of other parks. And one thing about this area too, and La Costa in general, is you're gonna find, yeah, these bigger parks, but you're also gonna find a lot of these like little pocket parks. And you can find it searching on a map, but they're a little bit more difficult to find. Also, outdoors, one of my favorite things is getting outside, checking out trails, checking out kind of, you know, these suburban trails, right? It's not like you're living in Colorado and you're going out into the woods, or you're living in other areas where you have you have little neighborhood trails off right up to the north. You have the preserve, beautiful views up there, and actually connects to a lot of other trails going out to like San Alejo. And so, yeah, there's not thousands of trails, but there's enough to keep you busy, a little bit of elevation change. Like I said, beautiful views up there. And one thing about kind of the suburbs up here, it's not a walkable area to where you're going to the village in downtown Carlsbad. That's one of the walkable areas, or walking to the beach. It's more that suburban, but there's plenty of sidewalks. Like some of the other areas we've covered where you don't necessarily have sidewalks, this you're fine. Like bring the kids out, bring the strollers out, bring the dogs out. If you're retired, just want to go for an afternoon walk, go out. There's plenty of that. It's all nice. It's all new. It's, you know, plenty of area to get out and about. And one of the other great parks up here is Alga Norte. If you guys have seen our other videos, we talk about Alga Norte a lot. It's a big, expansive park with a ton of ball fields. Once again, they're used all the time for soccer, for what's the 55 plus softball league, 70 plus softball league. Plus, yeah. Yeah, so it's like on a random Tuesday, right? It's like just some random day. They have a huge swim facility up there. So I believe if you're Carlsbad residents, you get maybe not free, but discounted going in there, something like that. Skate park, I mean, with that Southern California vibe, you know, there's a skate park there, big actual playground for kids and stuff. So that's probably the other neighborhood park or closest park right here. And then you have, you know, a bunch of, like I mentioned, all these little ones throughout.
Another big benefit of living in Carlsbad or La Costa is year-round sports. All of San Diego, you're gonna get year-round sports, but La Costa has a lot of options, including one of the biggest youth baseball and softball programs, LCYO, which I've been a part of since my kid was 4. I've been a director, I think, of every baseball division. So if you do have kids that are gonna play baseball, hit me up. It's a great organization, and I'll probably see you out on the field or even coach your kid at some point. And on top of baseball, there's a ton of other options. City SC Carlsbad is another one that you'll see, plays here at Stagecoach, plays at a lot of the parks in and around Carlsbad.
What is City SC?
Oh yeah, City SC is a soccer club here in Carlsbad. Thanks for the reminder. But all sports. So the gym here, I know they have volleyball tournaments, basketball leagues. You've got lacrosse is really huge here in San Diego, is getting bigger and bigger. And the ability to play year round is awesome. My brother-in-law is from Minnesota. He talked about baseball was like literally like 3 months of the year because it was either too cold, frozen, you were playing in a gym, which seems weird for baseball. So it's awesome. We have 2 full seasons, spring and fall for baseball, but there's summer leagues for soccer and FNL and all that stuff too. So as much sports as you can take here in San Diego. And it's not just for the kids. The ton of adult sports here. LC35 plays up here at Stagecoach. Chris and I are part of a Carlsbad adult softball league. They have men's and co-ed. And then there's a lot of, like, you'll see pickup soccer games a lot on these turf fields. So our old bones don't break. But it is really cool. There's a lot of adult activities out here too.
Now we're in a neighborhood this is where like most buyers come, that next step, right? They want more space, they want a yard, detached homes. And on one side we have Rancho Ponderosa. On one side, a little further down, we have Santa Fe Ridge. Names aren't too important because this is kind of one big neighborhood here. And there's a few other ones like this around here, but this is that next level, right? We were talking about this earlier too. We're like, is this La Costa? It's kind of right on the edge, but we're saying it is. So it's in that general neighborhood. Like, we came from the park, right? We came from Stagecoach Park, and that was like, how long, 5 minutes or less? Up here is great. It was built in the late 70s, early 80s. And you have, once again, kind of similar to that Meadow Ridge where you have like some open space here, a little bit of the pocket parks that we mentioned earlier. And yeah, some of the houses, you're gonna need some work, right? Those are the ones you're gonna, if you wanna put a little elbow grease in there, a little bit of sweat equity, there's some opportunity for that. And once again, we're getting to get pricing, square footage, all that a little bit later. So stay tuned for that to see if it's gonna fit what you're looking for. In this location, it's literally right on the border of Encinitas. So it lives a little bit more Encinitas, even though you have, you have access to the town square. You're probably gonna shoot like down to El Camino Real, which is one of the most convenient areas in really all of this kind of corridor right here between Encinitas and Carlsbad, where you have access to all of your big box stores. We always mention Target, right? Target's right down there. If you need a Home Depot, that's right down there. There's a big shopping center. We're gonna show you a really cool shopping center here next too, but you have access to all that. So I looked up Beacons, which is actually one of my favorite beaches. Great surf spot, cool little vibe down there. It's like this big switchback trail going down the beach. I love it, but a little bit closer. You're looking at 13 minutes. So it's a straight shot. You go out to this road, you guys can't see it, but boom, you're going straight down and you're gonna hit Beacons Beach. And that's also where it's another area to go out in, one of my favorite areas. Like we mentioned the Carlsbad Village earlier, and that's where, that's like the downtown area, but this is probably closer to that Lucadia area where it's another strip and it's awesome restaurants. Valentina is down there. One of my favorite restaurants, just went there date night with a wife not too long ago. There's Kaiola Sushi. There's actually a winery down there, which is really cool. There's La Papagayo. What's my favorite beer spot? I can't even remember. Regal Seagull, awesome spot. And just a bunch more, right? There's just a bunch more options down there. Corner Pizza. So anyways, that's gonna be probably closer than Carlsbad Village. So you have access to that. And it's just like, yes, you are right in the corner, so you get access to Encinitas, but you're not necessarily paying the Encinitas prices.
So like he just said, Encinitas is just a stone throw away right here, but there's a pretty big difference between Carlsbad and Encinitas, mostly in price. So we're gonna get into schools a little bit because this neighborhood and the first Encinitas neighborhood right across the street here feed into the same schools, same district, but there is really a $200,000 premium just crossing the street into kind of that Village Park area of Encinitas. So it is just the name, it's the zip code. Encinitas is a really well-known kind of just surf town, so there's just a little bit more pizzazz, I guess. Is that a good word?
Yeah, that works.
With that Encinitas name. And so even though this neighborhood pretty much lives Encinitas and goes to the same schools, it just is a little bit more affordable. And then also 4 schools here in La Costa and all the neighborhoods we're looking at today. This is the most complicated zip code, 92009. There are 3 school districts. So definitely something we want to chat about if you have specific districts you're looking at when you start chatting with us. But this area feeds into Encinitas and San Diego school district. So Encinitas is K through 6. San Diego is 7 through 12. So one of the more highly regarded school districts, or both of them are here in San Diego. So then where we started, Meadow Ridge, that is actually that part of La Costa there is San Marcos School District, so a little bit different. And then there's just a small corner, kind of northwest section of 92009 feeds into Carlsbad School. So this is the zip code where the majority of homes don't feed into the Carlsbad School District. As you can see behind us, I'm not walking into them, but it's trash day always when we're out filming. So now we're in that shopping center that Chris teased just a little bit earlier. This is the Forum Shops. Definitely a more high-end experience here in this shopping center. You've got a lot of just high-end like clothing stores. You've got Lululemon, you have Vuori, Nike, a whole bunch of other options too. But also you have some sit-down restaurants. You have the Henry, which just moved here, which there's a location in Coronado that we've been to a couple of times. You have Casa dei Bandini, which is one of my mother-in-law's favorite spots to hit. Parakeet Cafe right over here, a little spot for sandwich breakfasts, all that. But also just a lot of options too. You've got Jimbo's for kind of a whole food market type place. And it is closest to that neighborhood we just showed you, Rancho Ponderosa, but there's a lot of, but it's super easy to get here too from all the neighborhoods we're looking at today and all of the La Costas. Just to name off a couple others, I had the Apple store right back there that actually just moved. Chris is a new Apple guy, so he should spend a little bit of time in there learning his iPhone. But you also do have the Yeti store, you've got Anthropology, you've got some of the other ones. What's the other one?
Just look around.
ALO. You got Johnny Was, some of the other stores that I have no clue. Free People, I do know that one. So there are just a bunch of other kind of high-end shops here in the Forum. So we've already thrown a couple of beach names at you, kind of where you would go to the beach from some of these neighborhoods, but you'll kind of learn them as you get here. The Carlsbad beaches, Ponto, South Ponto is this kind of southernmost beach. You have kind of that campground / Terramar where it's a little bit more bluff area, and then into Tamarack and kind of that village area of Carlsbad. You've got a ton of beaches in that stretch too. Even just really good beach walking. So like between Tamarack and Carlsbad Village Drive, there's a couple of boardwalks, super easy to walk, super fun. And then Encinitas, a lot of them are going to be just as close as some of those Carlsbad beaches. You've got Grand View, Chris mentioned Beacons earlier, Moonlight Beach, super popular one. So a ton of options that you can get to from all of the La Costas. So even if you're not going to the beach to get wet or get in the water, we're going to definitely be catching you taking some of those sunset photos on the cliff in the evenings.
And this is actually one of the more popular neighborhoods in Carlsbad. You have La Costa Oaks, and it's actually a few different areas. We're in La Costa Oaks South, you have La Costa Oaks North, but like I said, they're all built in that same time frame. So a little bit newer construction and much bigger houses that we're gonna cover here in a sec. Bigger footprints, you're gonna find a lot more bedrooms. So not a ton of homes come up in here. And when they do, especially over these last few years, they go pretty quick. Like people just really dig this area, right? There's a few amenities up here. You're not gonna find the tennis courts or anything like that, but we just passed, actually we're walking towards it right now, one of the pools here. At the other one, you have the Splash, which is like the community center with the pool, little like kind of gym workout area, that kind of stuff. And then the one we just went through, past right now, it was like packed. I don't know what was going on there. There's nobody in the water because Cassie just looked up, it was like 61 degrees. Not the water, the air. That's cold for San Diego. Like we've been cold all morning, but there was nobody in the pool, so I'm not sure if it's heated. Also up here, a lot of these areas, as we're looking out here, kind of tiered. So you do have some opportunity for views. You do have a little bit more off the beaten path. So this whole neighborhood back here, it's not main roads. You're off all the main roads. This particular road's a dead end, but this is one big loop here. You have another loop and just a bunch of little side streets. So you're not gonna find, you know, too much cut through traffic, a little bit quieter, just that total suburban feel that you'd expect.
And now we're full circle. We're literally looking at the La Costa Town Square right now. We just came from La Costa Oaks. You guys just saw that. You guys already know where we just came from. But a few things. So price points, right? Let's get into price points. We're gonna work our way backwards. So La Costa Oaks, the most expensive on the list today. And you're looking bigger homes. You're looking like 4,000 square foot, a lot of 4-bedroom, a lot of 5-bedroom, a lot of 6 bedrooms. I was just looking up a few right now. And you got a lot of those larger square foot, larger homes, take up a lot of the lot. So not huge backyards. Price points, you're starting about 2.7 million and could go on up for there. If you get one of those houses that does have a big lot, that maybe does have those 6 bedrooms, that there was one, I think it was like 3.8 million. So you got a wide range of homes selling up there. And like I said, even at that price point, people love that neighborhood. So they go fairly quickly. And you're usually going to have some competition in there.
And then next up on the list, you had Rancho Ponderosa. You're looking at around 1,400 square feet to about 2,200 square feet.
This was the detached homes, by the way.
Yeah,
this is the second neighborhood that we went through.
Correct.
Like parks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and pretty good sized lots. I mean, that's one of the benefits of an older neighborhood is you have a pretty good sized lot. La Costa Oaks, that Chris just gave you the rundown of, bigger lots, obviously, than these, but the house fills a lot of it, so the yards aren't very big. But anyway, Rancho Ponderosa, you're looking at around 1.4 was the cheapest, but that's like a fixer, and they most are going to, yeah. So most of them sit kind of in that 1.5, 1.6 range. Yeah, so that's Rancho Ponderosa.
One thing about Rancho Ponderosa that we will mention is some of the houses are right on the main drag. I guess it turns into a Livin right there, right before it goes to Rancho and then Lucadia. But like some of those, you'll see them that might be a little bit more a little bit lower the price point, but you're going to see those sit a little bit longer just because it's a main road. Like
Yeah.
you're driving through, I mean, it's right behind us. We're a little bit further away, so we're not hearing it too much. But if you're living right there, you're definitely going to hear it.
Yep. And then Meadow Ridge is that townhome style attached homes. You're looking at just some of them, like the bigger ones, push around $1 million. For the most part, you're kind of in that 800 to $1 million. Some of the ones that need a lot of work are going to be a little bit more affordable. Chris mentioned the noise for Rancho Ponderosa. You do have that also there with Olga, and with Melrose kind of cutting through. There's some spots that definitely have some noise too. And then for square footage, you're looking, I think, at like 1,200 to 1,500 square feet is kind of the norm for most of those units there.
And some are 2-bedroom, most of them are 3-bedroom. And one thing about there is they do some of those are funky floor plans, are kind of like reverse. So when you walk in, it's like living room, kitchen, you know, a balcony going off the back, and the bedrooms are underneath. So what were you saying about those?
They're just a little bit more dark,
Yeah.
a little bit more just kind of that, anytime you have like basement style, it just tends to be a little bit more dark.
So it's definitely important to find the right fit for you up there. And so if you are thinking about moving to Carlsbad, you might want to keep La Costa on the list. Like I said, there's 30 other ones, but we could help you dial in the perfect one for you and your family, because like I said, there's totally different options, different price points, even than the ones we covered. There's some between that 1.4 and 2.7. That's not the only price range. There's some secret neighborhoods we have some friends in. We could definitely point you in the right direction and show you where those hoods are too. So anyways, you know how to reach us. We do this every day. Call, text, or email. Our number's popping up. You've probably seen it a few more times, but definitely reach out, because we got your back when making the move here to San Diego.